Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Jonathan Javier, the CEO of Wonsulting, and today we're going to talk about a very important topic. Now, before I go into this topic, be sure to click that subscribe button so you can be alerted when we have new videos every single week. Let's just pretend you are a job seeker, which I assume you are. You apply to a role, you get referred to one, you use our Wonsulting strategies, and what happens is you get an email back from a recruiter saying that you have an interview. You get excited, but at the same time you're a little nervous, and that's okay to feel. In this topic for today, for our YouTube video, I'm going to talk about specifically the top 5 interview questions that we've seen a lot of our clients be asked. I'm going to go into detail in regards to what these specific questions are and how to answer them. And hopefully you can turn from an underdog into a winner. So the first question you usually get asked during an interview is not tell me about yourself, but it's actually how are you? Now, let me explain this real quick. You know, in the first part of your interview when you answer that call or when you're in a video chat and they say, how are you? Most people will just do this. I'm good, how about you? However, what you can do is when you answer this question, you can bring the excitedness to the table and you can take it from scripted to conversational. So instead of simply saying, good, how about you? You instead answer it like this. I'm doing well. You know, I just went for a quick walk this morning, had an amazing breakfast with eggs, waffles, and bacon, and now I'm speaking with you. How about you? Do you see the difference between the first one when I said, good, how about you, versus the second one when I talked about what I did in the morning? Why you do this is because this brings the excitedness and it also shows your personality. A lot of people will literally say, good, how about you? Instead, when you get this question, actually answer it. That's gonna take you over the top, and you never know. You might start the first 5 minutes as a conversation rather than going through a scripted questions from their documents. Now let's go to the next question that's always asked during interviews, and it's tell me about yourself. Now this question is usually asked as one of the first questions during your interview, and a lot of people make it extremely complex. However, at Wonsulting, we like to structure it as follows. Number 1, giving a quick intro of yourself, talking about your current experiences that you have, your past experiences that you've utilized that are relevant to the role you're interviewing for, and what you want to get into for the future. So, for example, let's say that I'm interviewing specifically for an operations analyst role at Facebook, and I've worked at Snapchat, Google, and Cisco. I'm gonna mention these in my tell me about yourself, but I'm gonna also showcase that I know what skills and experiences that it takes to bring to the table to be great in this role. Let's just say the interviewer asks me, tell me about yourself, Jonathan. What I would say is this. Hi, my name is Jonathan Javier. I'm currently an operations analyst at Cisco where I work on our go-to-market strategy specifically with our account executive team. That's the first sentence. Then I talk about specifically the experiences that I had in the past. So I'd say, not only have I been able to work at Cisco in the strategy and operations space, I've also been able to work at Snapchat and Google where I worked on our go-to-market strategy as well, increasing our annual recurring revenue from 5 million to 20 million in a span of 5 months. Now for your future part, you want to talk about what you want to get into in the future, and the future is literally the position you're going for. So what I would say is, in my next role, I really want to be able to work collaboratively with multiple teams and also play a huge part specifically on a team in their go-to-market strategy. I saw an opportunity at Facebook, specifically in your Facebook Messenger space, and I believe that my skills, both in past and current roles, can contribute immensely to this role. But do you see how I literally put all the relevant experiences and I talk about it in my tell me about yourself? You can do that when you mention your present experience, your past experience, and your future experience. Last but not least, this is my personal thing I like to do. I like to say what I like to do outside of work for my last part. So I'll say, outside of work, I love to cook, play basketball, and play video games. That can be something that's also a conversation starter, and you never know if the interviewer likes those things that you may like as well. So just to tie it all in together, again, for tell me about yourself, structure it like this. Number 1, talking about your current experiences. Number 2, talking about past relevant experiences. Number 3, talk about what you want to do in the future. And last but not least, what you like to do outside of work. Now, the next question that's usually asked is, why this role? Now, when you talk about why this role, I believe that you have to do this. You have to talk specifically about how your relevant experiences fit directly to that role and how they fit your future aspirations within what you're trying to achieve. Now, let's bring that in together. Why this role? What I like to say all the time is you should have at least 3 different points of why you want to work specifically in the role. It could be in regards to the specific skills or qualification that the role has. It could be in regards to the collaboration opportunities and relevant experiences from your past. So many different ways, but let's break down an example. Let's say we're going back to that position specifically as a Facebook operations analyst. What I would say is say something like this. Yeah, great question of why this role. So, the reason why I want to work specifically as an operations analyst at Facebook there are many different reasons why, but I'll give you 3. Number 1, I love that you work collaboratively with multiple teams to make an impact on your company, as seen through the job description. I saw that you were able to work with product, strategy, and operations to play a huge role in scaling our product specifically with Facebook Messenger. The second part is working with an innovative company, specifically at Facebook, that is consistently making new initiatives that I could play a part of. And last but not least, I've had previous experiences in this role already, and I feel like these skills and qualifications can contribute immensely if I were given the role. Now, do you see how I tied in all the different things, and I also mentioned the qualifications from the job description? The reason why you want to do that is because now I've also given the interviewer another glimpse of what relevant experiences and skills that I bring to the table that maybe another candidate doesn't have. That's an easy way to structure your why this role. Now, the next question that a lot of people get asked is, why this company? Now, there are millions of companies out there, and you can't just say, oh yeah, I want to work at this company because of the culture. It's a very basic question. You can mention it, but you have to go into specifics. Why this company will showcase what research you've done specifically on that company, but also maybe if you've networked or you've met people who work there already. So let's give an example and say that you're answering this question, why this company, and the company is Wonsulting. What I like to do all the time is with this why this company answer, I like to talk about the different initiatives and the mission of that company. For example, Wonsulting's mission is to turn underdogs into winners. I would actually mention that in my answer. So, the first part, if someone were to ask me why this company and I was interviewing for Wonsulting, I would say, great question. One of the reasons why I want to work at this company is because I love your mission of turning underdogs into winners. That's the first sentence. Then you dive deeper into that answer. So, why does the mission correlate with me? I would then talk about how I came from a non-target school and non-traditional background, which is what Wonsulting exemplifies and tries to help people get into their dream jobs. I would then mention that specifically in that why this company. But do you see how I took the mission, I took the values and what the company stands for, and I put it into my answer? That's an easy way of how to answer why this company. So, if the interviewer asked me why this company and they're working at Wonsulting, I would say, great question. There are many different reasons why I want to work at this company, but one of the core reasons is because I love your mission of turning underdogs into winners. Coming from a non-target school, specifically at UC Riverside, I wasn't given the opportunities to specifically work in my dream company and had to use unconventional methods to get there. I realized that so many people, especially in this day and age where there's actually 9.5% unemployment rate to this date, I realized that you have to use these unconventional strategies which Wonsulting exemplifies, and I want to be able to be a part of that culture where I can help millions of people realize that they can get into the companies, and sometimes without even applying. You see that? I then tied in exactly why the company means to me, and that will help you get over the top when you're answering why this company. Last question that's always asked is something about a tell me about a time question. It could be about collaboration. It could be about prioritization. There are so many things that tell me about a time starts with, and it ultimately wants to see exactly how your thought process is when you're answering these questions. So a very common question has to do with collaboration. Tell me about a time when you collaborated with a team and someone wasn't doing their part. When you want to answer this question, you can structure in two ways. Number one, using STAR method, which is situation, task, action, result, or CAR method, which is context, action, result. I'm gonna go through CAR today because we've already used STAR before in one of our videos, and if you haven't checked it out, check it out. But let's answer this question with CAR method. So let's say that I talk about specifically in one of my classes when I was working on a project for a strategy class. That's gonna be my context. Another additional part of that is that I was working on a team of 5 different team members and someone wasn't doing their part. That is the context. And then I talk about the action steps that I took. Well, the action steps could be, oh, I met with this person one-on-one to discuss exactly what they were doing, listen to them in regards to what they wanted to accomplish and what their passions were. That is the action steps that I specifically took, and what resulted from it was we were able to complete the class and get an A on the project. That is an example. But let's tie it all in together that tell me about a time utilizing CAR method. So a time when I was working on a team and someone wasn't doing their part was when I was in my business strategy class at UC Riverside. At UC Riverside, I took a ton of different classes related to business, but I had one class where I worked with 5 team members and one person wasn't doing their part. Everybody else was working on a specific section of the project, but this person just wasn't doing anything. So the action steps that I had to take were the following. Number one, I met with this person one-on-one to understand why they weren't doing their part. I realized that the part that they were assigned was something that they weren't specifically passionate for, and I realized that they loved looking at financial statements when we were doing our analysis. I then understood his reasoning, and instead I delegated the different tasks specifically with our financial statements and had him work on it because he loves to work with numbers. What resulted from this was we were able to complete the whole entire project. Everyone did their part, and we received an A in the project. You see what I did there? Why I answered it like this was because I resolved the conflict, I showed my problem-solving skills, I showed my collaboration skills, and I showed my leadership skills because I listened to the person that I was speaking to, and I basically helped and guided them to find out exactly why they weren't doing their part. Thank you so much for watching, really appreciate it. And just to summarize everything, the top 5 interview questions that you'll be asked are how are you, tell me about yourself, why this role, why this company, and tell me about a time questions. If you're able to put that in your bag and put that in your back pocket, you're gonna be able to crush your interviews because many of the questions that are asked are literally one of those. If you're interested in any more of our videos, definitely check out these ones. They're gonna help you land a job in 2021. And that's it here from Wonsulting. Thank you so much for your time. Definitely subscribe to us, hit that bell button so you could be notified when we make more videos so you can turn from an underdog into a winner.